Hello everyone, I am going to talk about Unit 8, Agreements, and I am going to cover 3 parts. The first one is the introduction of agreements, and then when do we use singular verbs and when do we use plural verbs. Okay, so let's start. So first of all, remember, all of the verbs except the modal, except the modal verbs, so they must agree with the subjects in person and number. So what does it mean? It means for he, we have to use he is a well-educated young man, but not he are a well-educated young man. And just like this one, the liquid in these bottles, because for the subject of this sentence, we are talking about the liquid. And that's why we have to agree with the person and we have to agree with the number, So the liquid is mineral water. They are well-mannered people, but not they is well-mannered people. The bottles in the fridge, because in this case, the subject is the bottles, but not the fridge. I am talking about the bottles in the fridge, are empty. I'm talking about the bottles, and that's why we have to use are here. Okay, so first of all, when do we use singular verbs? When do we use singular verbs? So we use singular verbs in these cases. Number 1, if the subject is a single subject with our single subject. So when two subjects joined by and if they are just describing, if they are just expressing one idea, or if we are talking about the same person or same thing, so the verb is singular. However, if we are joining, if the two subjects are separate subjects, we have to use a plural verb. Let's look at the example. Let's look at this one. The first example. The famous composer, and can't you see and here? Famous composer and singer is in Hong Kong. So why do we use a singular verb here? Because I am talking about the same person. And this person is a composer and at the same time a singer. He has got 2 roles. We are talking about one person. However, let's compare. If we are saying something like this, the famous composer and the singer, I am talking about 2 persons, 2 different persons. So in this case, we have to use a plural verb. We have to use are in this case, because I am talking about 2 persons. How do you know that we are talking about 2 persons? Because after and, you see the article the here. And that's why the first person here and the second person here. 2 persons. And that's why we have to use a plural verb. What about another example? Let's take a look at, let's take a look at another example here. So the spaghetti and meatballs is my favorite dish. Spaghetti and meatballs, you can see the and here, right? It seems that there are 2 things mentioned. However, I am talking about one dish only. One dish, especially when you can see dish here. So this is in singular form, right? And that's why we have to use is. A singular verb here. And let's compare. Fish and chicken are my 2 favorite foods. We are talking about 2 different foods. Number 1, fish, and then we have got chicken. And that's why I have to use a plural verb here. Of course, if you want to talk about one dish and then in the dish, so you see both fish and chicken. If you really want to make it a dish here, so you can use a singular verb. But usually I think these 2 are 2 different kinds of foods, and basically they don't put together, and that's why they are 2 different things. They are 2 different foods, and that's why we have to use a plural verb here. Okay, so case number two. So please pay attention to this sentence pattern, okay, to this structure. When we have many are, I guess this is a new structure to you, okay, or more than one. So whenever you see this pattern, we have to use a singular verb. For example, many a celebrity was present at the opening ceremony. Okay, it just mean many celebrities. Many a celebrity actually means many celebrities, okay, were present. So if we use many celebrities, so we have to use a plural, okay, a plural verb here. But if you are using this very special structure, many are, or more than one, so we have to use our singular verb. More than one person means two or more people, okay? But then if you use two or more people, so you have to use our plural verb, okay? So let's see if you would like to use this very special sentence pattern, okay, to talk about the same meaning, okay, expressing the same meaning. Many are celebrity means many celebrities. More than one person means two or more people, okay? But if you choose to use many are celebrity, just like what I just told you, so we have to use a singular verb. If you use if you use this sentence pattern, more than one person, so you have to use a singular verb as well, okay? So do not mix them up. Okay, and then we have case number three. Okay, case number three. So with words that measure money, weights, time, volume, or distance, okay, so we have to use a singular verb. 5 years is a long time to wait. So even though you can see the letter S here, okay, so we don't say 5 years are a long time to wait. Okay, no, not really, because we are just talking about a specific period of time. Okay, so for this kind of measurement, so we just use a singular verb. It's just like 10 tons. Okay, even though you can see that it is in its plural form. Okay, this is our plural noun, so we still use a singular verb here. Okay. Okay, so case number four. With some singular nouns, I'm not talking about all of the singular nouns that end in S, but for some of them. So you can just pay attention to this, okay? Pay attention to these words that end in the letter S, okay? For example, the more common one will be the news. Okay, was shocking to hear. Measles is a highly contagious illness. Okay, and of course, okay, for the following uncountable nouns that end in S, okay, because this is the spelling of the word, okay, it ends in the letter S, okay, it doesn't mean that this is a plural noun, but it means that this is the spelling of the word, okay, so we use a singular. Of course, we have to use singular because they are uncountable, okay. Mathematics is his best subject, okay, physics is his best subject. Okay? Okay, so case number five, when we are using, if the phrase or the clause, the whole phrase or the whole clause is used as the subject, okay? So we use a singular verb, okay? For example, we start with a to infinitive structure here, to admit one's mistakes. To admit one's mistakes, I am talking about the whole thing. One thing only, the whole thing, and that's why we use a singular one. Collecting stamps is her favorite hobby. I'm talking about the whole thing. I am not just talking about the stamps. Okay, I'm not talking about the stamps, but I am talking about this action, collecting stamps, and that's why we have to use a singular verb. Okay, a singular verb here. Okay, a singular verb here. Okay, and then let's carry on. So for those 5 cases, okay, for those 5 common cases, and then we have to use a singular verb. So when do we use plural verbs? Okay, we use plural verbs, okay, with these cases. Case number 1. If the noun is a collective noun, okay, we use plural verbs with collective nouns. Okay, collective nouns. for example, so even though when you see these words, even though you don't see any s there, even though you don't see any s there, we still use plural verbs, okay, because they are collective nouns, just like the public have been warned of the danger of smoking. Okay? The police, okay, for example, the police are looking into the murder case, for example. Okay, so for the police here, even though you don't have the s here, so we still use a plural verb, okay, because this is a collective noun. Case number 2, okay, so pay attention to this very special structure, the plus an adjective. The plus an adjective means we are talking about that group of people. If we are referring to the whole group of people, okay, so the verb is plural. For example, the rich means the rich people are growing richer, and the poor means the poor people are becoming poorer. The uneducated are facing a struggle to find jobs in the years ahead means the uneducated people, okay, and that's why, okay, we have to use a plural verb because we are referring to that group of people. Okay, the plus an adjective. The plus an adjective. Okay? Let me give you some other examples of this, of this structure. For example, if you want to talk about the people don't have, they don't have a job, we can say that the jobless. We can say the unemployed. Okay, we can say the unemployed. So anyways, so even though you don't see any s here because they are adjectives, and that's why we don't add s, okay, actually we are referring to that group of people, and that's why we have to use a plural verb after that. Okay? Okay, so basically, so under these two are the common cases, okay, to tell you when we are going to use plural verbs. Okay?